All right. What's good, everybody? Once again, I'm back. This is Juice Wanna. Welcome to Old York Gritty, where I'm simultaneously filming on smoking jokes as well. I felt that, this is one of them things that I just want universally. I don't want it to be limited to anything. As you can see, the question is, what is black on black crime really, right? And why I support Charleston White, well, 60% of what he says, right? Um, in the other 40%, in a way, I guess I understand what he's trying to say, but I think that he it's just that I guess I'm not that mature yet, right? Anybody who know me know, I did time. I've been in supermax prisons. I've been in maximum state prisons in two different states. I've been in riots, in jail, in out, right? I perform violent acts. I feel most of the time it was due to retaliation, not initiation, meaning that I was not initiating any violent act. I'm not gonna. It's a cautionary thing to say because I used to be a stick-up kid, right? And so the act of robbery itself is a violent act. I admit that. I acknowledge that. What I mean by violent is, the inflicting of injury upon somebody else. I honestly say that I did my best at all times to avoid that. Right? So I'm saying that because, I don't want, the younger generation to think that everybody who's talking to them is this disconnected person. You know what I mean? Like they just can't relate. I can relate. I can understand that there's two sides, meaning that there's the instigator, right? Those who come into this world to inflict chaos, mayhem, pain on other people, whether it be black people, in my own skin tone, melanated, as they say, right? Or Caucasian white people, right? Or the lack of melanated, the pale skins, whatever you want to say, right? So I'm saying that in regards, hold on, let me move myself over just a little bit here. All right. Okay. So I'm saying that to say that we as hold on, I'm hearing a little clicking here. Hold on a minute here. Oh, it's these what's your names? All right, let me put up my lower third real quick. Okay, this Grand Strange. That's one of my pages that I'm streaming on, and also Old York Gritty, right? As you can see right here, right. So anyway, I understand that there are those who instigate conflicts, right? And with that being said, we in our community is taught no snitching. Right, yo, no matter what, you don't tell the cops. You hear this thing about I wouldn't wish, jail on my worst enemy. I can't say that. Right. I don't feel that way. I mean, I know, like even when it came down to me being in jail, I kicked my feet up and handled whatever I was there for. Right. I wrote books. This is one of my books right here, Street Scalesy, Knock 'em Out the Box. As you can see, over 400 pages. You can go to Amazon, and check the book out yourself, right? So, this is how I spent my time. Now, in this book, not to be, promoting it or anything, but in this book, it's a nonfiction. But I made sure that the message was the retaliation, not the initiation. Meaning, this is, you have a group of people who killed somebody. His sons are going back for revenge. I'm a vengeful person. I'll let you know that. I don't believe in, this Bible, the vengeance is the Lord and all of that. I don't promote that, right? I don't promote what do you call that? Karma in the sense of the way people mean it now, which is really what goes around comes around. I know karma in the India form, meaning, what you do in this life, it affects on, your reincarnation and how you come back in your next life, right? Which is cool, I mean, I ain't got no problem with that. But what I'm saying is karma in the American sense. This, oh, because you talk crazy to somebody and you turn around and trip and somebody go, oh, you see, that's karma. I don't subscribe to that. I've seen too many people do dirtbag things and nothing comes about of it. Right? So I do not promote that. That's not my thing. Right? Now with that, I would be considered a contributor of black on black crime. Meaning, in our culture, right, we have a thing of no snitching. Cool, right? My version of no snitching is anybody outside of the community, right? And with me, the community is black people as a whole. So I wouldn't care if I was in Kentucky. I wouldn't care if I'm in Los Angeles. I wouldn't care where I'm at, right? These are still, the same people. I don't play this West Side, East Side. I never played that. I was always good enough to go everywhere that I wanted to go. I've been all up and down the East Coast. I've been on the West Coast. I've been Midwest, right? I've had allies on all aspects of gang culture, whether it be, vice lords, whether it be, one of my mainies, was the Mickey Cobras, was, because they seem to had conflict, like they're the underdogs. You know what I mean? So I knew a lot of Mickey Cobras. I knew I was affiliated under, the Bloods, and, so I knew a lot of Bloods. I knew a lot of Crips, and I never, once wanted to be one of them people to take that culture and use that as a means of causing mayhem to one another. So, I've had, like in Connecticut, I had some conflicts with Crips, right? But not as a whole. Like it was a certain group, and that really came from me hanging out with another group, and they was initiating that conflict, right? So me being around a group of people, I wound up having a conflict with a certain group because, when I was out there, me, the Crips, and, the Bloods, the Gangster Disciples, all of these people, we were literally all around each other, hanging out, drinking, smoking. Everything was love. You know what I mean? So anywhere that I've been, even in Atlanta, I've not gonna, I hate to use the word affiliated, but I've associated myself with different, organizations, gangs, whatever you call it. And so I've never And I'm saying that to say that with all of the information that I have, right? I've never once got incarcerated, and one day I'll put my rap sheet up here. I've never once, and mind you, this is me outside of my original birthplace, which would be New York. I've been in all of these places, and I have never once told on anybody, right? Because I'm living on this principle of no snitching. And due to the fact that I've never, outside of certain periods in my life when when I first truly left out of New York, when I say finally, left out of New York, even then I was affiliated with, the gang culture, but me personally, I never was technically, in those organizations. You know what I mean? Like I said before, I was introduced to it from this is when I was very young, like 13, 14 years old, right? I had some friends that came from LA, like ghost towns. So these were like East Side Pain, Crips. I mean Bloods. All right, forgive me. I don't even know why I said Crip there. I was thinking about something else. But anyway, and so, me coming from that group of people, right? We used to run around New York. This is back when, what do you call them? The Central Park jogger case, right? Me and Corey Wise was in school together. We actually went to Stevenson High School together, right? So I was the type of person that would be in, Central Park, robbing white people. You know what I mean? That was my thing. So even though I was known as a stick-up kid, I wasn't in the neighborhood performing these acts, right? Um, what is it like contrary belief and all of that, like that was like whether you want to accept it or not. I know people who know me, but they wasn't with me, so they knew what I was doing, but they wasn't with me. So in their mind they could assume that I was running around neighborhoods, but I knew people in all of these different neighborhoods. That was why I was able to travel all through like Brooklyn. Even though I was from uptown, I was able to travel to Brooklyn, Queens, the Bronx. Like I never really was in Staten Island, but I had a lot of friends in Staten Island. When I got locked up at a robbery case, right? I'll get to that one day, but not for right now. What I'm saying is, from that, this is when, the Bloods was brewing in New York. This was I got locked up in 9/2. So this is before the Bloods actually started. I was, like I said, I was already affiliated with that, so I was never really a part of that when it came to New York, right? I knew people who were, they was, because I was about that action, they was, I was getting codes and all of that from then, so I was always good within, my environment. You know what I mean? Like, even when they had problems, right? Even when the problems brewed, I was good because, I tell people, my family is Latin as well. So this is why I would never really affiliate myself with the New York, thing, due to the fact that I wasn't, it's pretty hard for me, to be, fighting against people that I don't have a problem with just based on color, or nationality, or, you know what I mean? Should I say in this case, right? So, I'm just putting this stuff out there as I go on. I wanted to make sure that we understand that I am of the street, kept the street code, no snitching. Like I said, I've been in situations where I could have said, "Oh, yo, this person did this right here," and walked out the door. You know what I'm saying? Like the kind of things that I knew and was around, I could have easily, you know, put people on the chopping block. I was putting people on to connects. I could easily put, those people on the chopping blocks. Never. My name will never come up in any document whatsoever where you seeing me, performing those type of acts. So when I'm saying this is because when I say I agree with Charleston White, I'm saying this because even though I wasn't into that, telling on people in my own community and stuff like that, um, I still understood the boiling point of, the Charleston Whites, the people who's watching this chaos and tired of it, tired of, acting like there's some way to fix the problem within. There's no way to fix the problem within because we have a culture that is chasing European values, right? And but they only want to get it off of those within the community who has obtained it. Meaning, you know, you wearing X clothing, you wearing X jewelry, right? They won't go to, the diamond district and, put that work in. No, they want to shoot you down because you have a chain on. They want to rob and kill you. And I'm saying this because of, you know, um, PNG Rock and all of these people, who's getting, killed Pop Smokes, the Nipsey Hustles, who died in his own community, right? And we see these predators within that community, these undercover Freemasons, and these groups, because all of them was really started out of Freemasonry, right? And I'm actually gonna do a whole series on the gang culture and how it was set up, right? So, and I say this because in all honesty, I care for my people. Like I've always been like a Tupac type of dude, right? Where but people couldn't label me, oh, he's just pretending or something like that, because I was really active. Tupac, he was an activist. He was for the people, and so he didn't participate in the things that the streets would deem him a gangster. So all of the foul people can throw dirt on his name, disrespect his name, and say, "Oh, he really was." He was all of that. He showed you when the time came, he was ready to bust his gun for his people. He did not know those were cops, and he still put that work in. But because they all of these agents for the white man who keep the conflict brewing in our community, they allowed to throw dirt on his name. That's why I don't respect the Ice T's and um the henchmen and all of these dudes. Like I don't respect them. You know what I mean? Because you clearly are chasing white wealth. Like when you listen to their interviews, they tell you, oh, they was in the streets because, they was trying to get the girls, and to get the girls, you needed the clothes and the jewels and like I wasn't none of that. I wasn't pursuing none of those things. I was really on thinking that, the hip hop music at that time was liberating. And I thought that it was a movement to, I was out there, I was catching cases, and then I realized that the people I was around, cause like I would have rules like no robbing, black people, no women, and I started noticing that the people that I was around, they were really there. Like I didn't smoke weed. I did at that time. I didn't smoke weed. Like I didn't smoke weed until I got out of high school, right? I drank, but 40s and all that wasn't ain't nothing. And most of the time, you can go into a store, you know, um, pants one of those, walk out, and you good. So, that's what if I was running around those type of people. But the point that I'm making is, it wasn't necessary to be that type of way. Like I'm a lyricist. I've rhymed my ass off, but I never went into the industry because I didn't want to promote what I wrote, like the way I was thinking, and the structure of hip hop, especially at that time, the hustle and the drug. I didn't want to promote none of that. I understood like the way you see it now, these people going into these towns and stuff like that and getting killed. I knew that back then. I knew the lifestyle that I was living. I told you I was on tour. I was literally going around, the country. I was, at 16, I was already OT. I graduated high school in New York while being in another state. You understand what I'm saying? Like I used to come back and forth like 4 days, well 3 and 3, because that one day was really my travel day. So I was so 3.5 each, right? So the point that I'm making is at a young age I was active, in getting money, but not in the sense that everybody else was. Like I just wasn't into impressing people off of white stuff. You know what I mean? Like name brands, and like I wasn't into that. That's just never been my thing, because I know that our culture desires that. So then you're putting yourself to be a target. You understand what I'm saying? By within. And so then we have this black on black crime, right? And so for me, I never been that. But as so I knew to avoid promoting that type of lifestyle. Um that European worshiping, that I call it white worshiping, right? I knew to avoid white worshiping, right? And I knew that if I avoided white worshiping, I would always be good in the community, because they'll look right past you. They'll know you about that action and all of that. And, you have people, who would try to harm you in that way. But on your day to day travels, you will not have any conflicts if you do not fit the chasing European mode, right? This brand is popular right now. You gotta avoid all of that, and you will be safe. You can still get all of the money. You can still have everything that you want, right? It's just that the company that you keep will be different, right? Because you're not pursuing, white worshiping. You're not idolizing the things that white America has sold you as important, right? So I never was that. You know what I mean? So when I listen to Charleston White, I go, okay, here goes somebody who is fed up. Right, you can't say he did his time in jail and this, that, and the third. So I relate to him, right? Even when I was incarcerated, like I said, I was in a supermax prison, and I'm trying to correct people on certain things, winding up in little conflicts, but nobody really wanted it. If you know me, I'm gonna get busy. I got hands. I'm a handle mine, right? But I would take the low road and just mind my business. Like I said, I'm trying to write my books. I'm trying to, do my little thing and get out, right? I was already, falsely affiliated, so here it is. I'm with these, these gang members, right? I'm not even from the state, and like I said, I was hustling out there, so I could have easily, did some suckiness and pointed, but I don't do that. And this is why I say I'm not with Charleston White on a certain degree, but I should be. I should be like, yeah, man, you'll send this person to jail or that. Nah, I just can't. It's like something inside me that says, you not even messing with them dudes for you to even care. Like I'm doing my own thing. You understand what I'm saying? And I've never been in a situation I got like I'm gonna see. I don't know if you can see it now, but it's like I can't. I'm gonna show you when I cut my hair. Right? I got hit in the head. While I was in jail, I got like 8 stitches in my head. Right? And it happened right in front of the COs, and I still told the CO, nah, I slipped, had my head on the table, this, that, and the third, right? And then the funny thing is, I was in HDM. This was, like the big boys on the island, right? I've always been high classification. Like I said, from youth, I've always been high classification. So I've always known the wildest dudes within the city. You know what I mean? Whether I hung out with them or not is totally different. But I've been around them, know them. So here it is, this happened. And, like I said, I could have told on them, got moved out the building. Because if, you got a conflict with somebody, you get moved out. I told you, I'm vengeful. I'm the type of person, if you do something to me, if you do something to somebody I know, I'm trying to get you. That's it. No ifs, ands, buts about it. Nothing. I'm not trying to discuss it. I'm coming for you. Right? And then that's why people know me, this quote unquote gangster, because I'ma handle my business. I'ma, try to set the record straight for all of the, for the wrong that you did. Right? So, when the person did what he did, I didn't say nothing because I didn't want to get moved out the building, right? And telling anything ain't gonna do nothing. You know what I'm saying? So I'm like, yo, I'm gonna catch the dude. Now here it is. A few days later, or a week or two later, I wound up being in the cafeteria, right? And it's still in HDM, and this was a 9-5 actually, right? So I was there for a robbery case. You know what I mean? I was in college. That's the funny part. I was in college. Somebody else committed a robbery. I'm not gonna say I didn't contribute verbally to his eardrum, and have him in a certain mind state. And so he, due to who I was, known, so he turned around, robbed some people, whatever. I wound up getting caught. I didn't snitch on him. He wound up, ratting on me though. And I can't even say, I hate saying ratting because he wound up putting the blame on me. Ratting as if we're co-defendants and we're actually doing something. It wasn't that. I got bailed out. I went back down to college. I was in Virginia. And, he wound up, telling and saying that I did this and the third. I wound up coming up. I had a homeboy at the time who, got in contact, with the people who were saying I was involved. They wound up, one of them came to court basically, on some walk by. I knew who the person was. So he walked by in the bullpen and basically was like, nah, that's not him. Boom, 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 whatever the case, right? But on that, that time, me on the island, I was CMC status at one point. I don't know, close monitoring custody. So I was around the cop killers and, this is in the Bronx house. So, it was like just half the house. So say if the house held 20 people, the whole thing, half of it would be 10. I'm in there like that with people, right? So, this to tell you the level of me. You know what I mean? Even though I'm a cool dude and stuff like that, I've always been around this environment because I'm that in a way, but I'm not. Like I said, the vengeful side of me makes me that, not the initiator. I'm not the initiator looking to be that. I'm the vengeful side, and that's what brings about that thing, because there's always somebody causing a conflict. Now, this is where I wish I would have been like a Charleston White or something and be like telling and all of that. Not to say he told, but I'm just saying what he promotes, right? Because then I could have went on with my life, but then I'm always going to be vengeful anyway. So then you might wind up around the people, and then they got, your name affiliated with this. So like I said, it's a catch-22 and wanting to liberate the people, right? We have an inside conflict. This is where I'm going with, oh, let me just finish the story, right? So when I saw the dude in the cafeteria, I look over. I'm like, oh, there you go, right there. So it's like a bar that where you follow the bar to get to the chow hall. I wind up going under and going after him, and he jumps up and was like, yo, why you coming next to me for this? And I'm like, oh. So the CEO like, yo, what are you doing off the line? Get back on the line. You know what I mean? And so from there, I realized here it is. I'm keeping a code that nobody else is, and then he's still allowed to be around people, right? Because I would have figured, hey, that's ratting. What are you doing, right? But what I'm saying is people live by a code that everybody else is not living by. So this is what I mean about this check-in, right? Me as a somebody who was a criminal, check in with who? Because the streets is crazy. See, the thing is, as an entertainer, there's you checking in is really, what does that mean? That's like Biggie checking in with a certain group of people, but he still dies. You understand what I'm saying? So for me, I'm like, check in what? You understand? Hold on one second here. All right. Check in what? Pardon me, I had like a little, white line there. But my thing is check in what? Check in where? Check in with who? Because if the streets is the streets, and none of these people are under this same banner, these same groups are beefing with each other. So check in with. What are you checking in on? Who are you checking in with that you gonna be good and everybody is still beefing with each other every day? Right? The problem with places like LA and New York is they still hungry. So anything is an opportunity for them to, make a buck. You know what I mean? So, with that being said is why I'm making this thing, what is black on black crime. So let me get into this, right? Black on black crime is the initiator, right? Those who are looking for the conflict, a community that says I wouldn't wish jail on my worst enemy. I don't agree with that, right? And the vengefuls, the me's, right? The type of person that if you do me harm, I'm gonna want revenge, right? So we have a never-ending cycle because nobody within the community is saying, wait a minute, you did this, you know what I'm saying? We gonna step back, right? Because, everybody is hiding behind, not everybody. I wasn't hiding behind nobody, right? That's why I said I'll be dolo, you know what I'm saying? I'd be in jail, don't know a goddamn soul there, and still be good based on my movements, my uprightness, my morals and principles, even within a criminal setting, because not everybody is the dirtbags. Not everybody is the sneak thieves. Not everybody is there for violating, raping, and, murdering just random people. Some people were just hustlers and got caught up. Some people were violated and they went and handled their business, right? And so with that, I was always good because, believe it or not, majority are either the hustlers, just trying to get paper, right? Or, those, who are not having somebody violate, they peoples or themselves. So we have those. So then you still have, like I said, you got those who's running around, the drug users. That's why a lot of the gangs I agreed with back in the days, and that New York area where they was like, no drug use and all of these things, due to the fact of those things bring your morals down, right? And like I said, I understand those who's going through the hardships, of dealing with that usage, but at the same time, it still brings your morals down, because your thing is you need to get high. You not caring. You see a change. You see these people robbing old ladies, things that I never did. You know what I'm saying? You seeing them, just doing things that, and it's like I said, it's nothing new, right? It's the same system from the 70s, the 80s, the 90s, 2000s, the 10s, now, the teens, and now the 20s. It's never nothing new, right? It's just that now, with a country depleting, but still promoting these values that, these certain things, those people who promoting whiteness within the black community, those who want that whiteness is gonna take that opportunity. And like I said, now it's being more intensified. Like, we didn't see that in the hip hop, community. We seen certain artists, but for the most part, you wasn't seeing hip hop artists getting killed. You know what I mean? Just for, the way they was. Nah, nowadays, that's the thing. So this is why I'm talking this, right? What is black on black crime? Black on black crime is the code of snitching. The code of snitching is the cause of black on black crime. If see, my thing is just like, okay, you a criminal, right? You a shoplifter, right? And somebody shoots you. I don't think you should be held under the same stipulations as somebody who's a stick-up kid, right? I don't like, and there goes somebody who's saying that, right? Who used to be a stick-up kid, and here it is. I don't feel that, and mind you, if you a stick-up kid and you not within the community doing what you doing, right? You not obligated. Cause I remember one time I was locked up, and it was like a CO, right? And I'm not gonna say the dude name, right? Cause he's known, right? And I'm telling the CO, yo, word, open my cell. They like, yo, whatever. I'm like, yo, you know what? I watch when the captain come. I'm gonna let him know. Now this inmate told me, yo, word, you gonna snitch on that person? I'm like, yo, are you serious? Like, they trying to put the sword over my head as if me telling on a correction officer would be snitching. I let them know, like, listen, man, you say what you want to say. If this motherfucker don't open my cell, when that fucking captain come, they gonna find out. And that was that. You know what I mean? But my thing is we try to use this sword over the head for every situation, and I don't feel that. I don't feel that if this person is not into this lifestyle, like I said, there's those stages. I never been the type of person to see an old lady, get robbed or get caught in something and then say, oh, that lady snitched on. What? Like, no, motherfucker. That's, you doing something. First of all, crime is not meant to be all out in the face anyway. So once you do something, anybody is subject to, getting called on, right? So this lie of, no snitching and all of that, I can't agree with it no more because I never agreed with it, but now I'm speaking out to what my understanding of snitching is. If you got rats, meaning that if we rob in this jewelry store, right? And one of them, somebody get caught and they tell on the other people, that's a rat, right? Or a snitch. You know what I'm saying? If me and you is beefing, right, and you do something to me, like say we two drug lords or whatever, right? Those are snitching, right? But if and for me, that's all ratting, because snitching to me is within the community. First of all, the law should be this is not permitted within our community. And when I mean our community, I don't mean just this blood neighborhood or this Crip neighborhood. No, those are still both our communities. Vice lords, gangster disciples, those are still all our communities. If you tough and you this, that, and the third, and you commit these actions upon these people within that community, that's all on you, man. I don't hold you to no love, no anything, because I'm watching these other people hitting things that are outside of the community. Now, if those outside of the community come and ask questions, that's when the snitching, no snitching, dry snitching, and all of that plays a part in my eyes. In my eyes, if you ask me what is snitching, I'ma tell you, if you doing something outside of the community and they come within the community to ask questions, and you say something, you snitched. If you are with the group that committed the crime and those outsiders came and got one of them, and you tell on the other people that was with you, you a rat. You understand what I'm saying? You a 6ix9ine type of dude. You know what I mean? Like, I don't want to hear that, oh, because this dude did this to my girl. She wasn't your girl. Nobody raped her. You know what I'm saying? She gave it up. That wasn't your girl no more. They kidnapped me. Yo, you was giving orders on video and all of that. What is the name? Trippy Red and all of these people. You giving all of these things, these warnings, and putting hits out on people. You played that game. So I do not give those type of people any leeway. Right? Because if I was into those things and I got caught up in it, I'm not saying nothing. I remember, a situation, right? I wound up getting locked. Not only did I make sure that the person who was with me got out, right? I I didn't sway from the conflict. I didn't tell on nobody. You understand what I'm saying? Because that was internal, which, for me, it wasn't me in pursuit of it. It was them making threats, and, you calling people, you telling people's moms you're going to murder people and this, that, and the third. It's going to be a reaction. I'm one of them people. Like I said, I'm vengeful. If you violate me, I'm going to want revenge. And so I respect if I do things to certain people that they would want revenge, that they would want, to even the playing field. That's respected. I'm not even mad about that. I would respect that 100%. That's why I tried in my best to avoid that to the utmost. That's why once I left out of New York, I was always in avoidance of those things. I could go places, like I said, and be good because one, I'm not from here. I just set myself up here, became cool in the community, and that's just what it is. I'm looking out for people. I always had, to connect back in the city. So, wherever I was at, if people needed that product, I could take them there, and so I'm exchanging, showing the love. You know what I mean? Whether it, whatever it is, right? I was connected. I was living off that Frank Sinatra, mentality. If you can make it here, you can make it anywhere. I made it in New York, survived. I mean, not like, balling or nothing like that, but I survived in New York. I was in the trenches. I told you I was CMC status. A lot of people could never eat. I would hope they never reach, that level. You understand what I'm saying? I was in, the hardest of the hard. I was a red card. So even when I was in the 6th building, I was in, what was it, 4 main, not because it was like 1 main and 4 main, but mind you, those are like gated off from the rest of the building. So I was high classification. When I got locked up, here it is. I was 2 times. I got locked up on simple stuff. Wind up getting in a riot or inciting riots 2 times in 2 different states. I wound up in Attica, right, being in a medium. Right, and even when I was in Connecticut, I wound up going to Northern Correctional Facility, which is a supermax for inciting a riot, right? So I understand, this level, but like I'm telling you, I've always been for the people. So these inciting these type of things, one, the Attica one, no, I wasn't in Attica, but how I got sent to Attica was because they jumped on, the white officers jumped on, one of the brothers, Muslim brothers, and I came to his aid, right? And well, we all came to his aid, not just me, and we wound up getting, you know, um, you know, caught up in that. And in the northern one, it was like, okay, now this is black on, I guess, quote unquote, black on black, but the dude, I found out that he was like, it was a Crip dude, and he was from, I want to say, St. Louis or East St. Louis, one of the two. Well, anyway, the dude, he was there, for attempt rape. Now, I didn't know at the time, but as he was talking, these are the things that I was coming to the conclusion, and it came to my ears, the way I perceived it, that yeah, he was guilty of this. So it was no way for me and him to remain in that situation, in that cell together. So, it was getting spicy, right? And So he wound up going to the captain, you know what I mean? And they had us inside the office. And so after he basically told that, I was, gonna, basically rock him, because I was, what I'm saying, it kept, like getting there, like, you know how it is. You get that, man, I just can't be around this person type of mentality. So, we was in the office, and when I was leaving out, we was leaving out, like after he told, I was like, all right, say less. Once we get this, because he was like, oh, pack your stuff up, y'all going to different areas, right? Now, mind you, it was already a riot probably like 2 weeks before this incident. The whole dorm, because this is like a, what do you call it? SRG, like security risk group. So this is before I became a threat member. I was a risk group. And now what happened is when we was going back, he basically told, right? And so they held me back so he can pack his stuff up. So we was on different tiers now. And from that, I basically was like, yo, you know, him right there. You already know what it is. No, nothing to say. And from that, I wound up getting sent to Northern, right? So this is, me, right? And I'm saying that to say that, yeah, I understand Charleston White. I understand the frustration. I stopped listening to hip hop music when Tupac got shot the first time. You know what I'm saying? When up in Quad Studio, that was it for me, right? Because I'm like, because even when All Eyes on Me and Me Against the World came out, anybody who know me can tell you, I never listened to those albums. Like to this day, like I probably know songs that was on the radio and go, oh, that was on those albums. But to this day, I've never listened to neither one of those two albums, like for my purpose. Like if I was around somebody and they was playing, I'd be like, man, turn that off. And this is somebody that I held, to high esteem, but I couldn't listen to it due to the fact that it was not, him. It wasn't, and that's when all of a sudden all of the gangsters and fake gangsters and, it allowed all of the no snitchings and from people who ain't even in it, and that mentality to fester. So not so it wasn't necessarily against him, it was against everybody else around me. And so ever since then, like, I not to say that I wasn't listening to other artists, I think I completely stopped listening to hip hop around probably like 2005, I want to say. Like around 2005, I just said, nah, this is not nothing that saying, like to this day, I still write rhymes. I'm people hear me, they go, oh, sweat, yo, he got bars. You know what I'm saying? I be on Discord battling people. You know what I'm saying? This, that, and the third, but I, like as far as putting that out there, that mentality, I cannot do it. I cannot be a contributor in the two-facedness, stop the violence, but then you word up, no snitching, and you like, I cannot play both sides and cause the brewing of black on black, because that's black on black crime to me. That's the root of black on black crime. Those individuals who promote this lifestyle that they not even living themselves. And so then you become trapped, right? You become trapped in this no matter what, you don't tell, because yo, niggas in the hood to get you, and right. So I mean, not that I was ever really worried about that. I never really was in the hood like that. That's what I'm saying. I was universal. I was in every hood, all the hood, the whole world. You know what I'm saying? So for me, it was nothing. I could have easily just, pardon me here. I could have easily just, left. I told you, since 16, I was OT. I was only going back to New York every once in a while. To the point that, at 16, it was up to I graduated. After I graduated, I caught the shooting case, got locked up, right? When I came home, I went to college, right? So now mind you, before I went to college, I was already down in VA, right? So then when I went to, college out there, came out, I caught that case, went back to VA, then went to, North Carolina, then up to Connecticut, and down to Atlanta, and so you know what I mean. Like I've always been good in the hood. You know what I mean? So when I'm saying this of respecting Charleston White as being a voice of saying there has to be, like I said, all of that antagonizing people and all, I'm not with that. I'm not with the, bothering the next group. My thing is, see, like right now, I'm saying what I'm saying. I'm hoping that, the youth can understand the difference between, snitching, ratting, and believing the lie. If you not in the crime, keep that lie out of there, and don't let nobody intimidate you and tell you that you can't call the cops. You know what I mean? If you a citizen, you was all of that. Oh, I wouldn't wish that on my worst enemy and all of that. Fuck out of here. I'm not trying to hear that. I oh, that ain't a place for no. Well, what about rapists? What about baby killers? What about, pedophiles and all of that? Yeah, there should be a place for them, right? And so it's not for people who might, deputize themselves and go to handle a situation, me. But like I said, I understand that I'm inside a nation where I should have pointed the finger at somebody and said, yo, this person did. I just couldn't find myself to do it. You know what I'm saying? So I eat the time that I did. I eat what, even when I was told to let it go, you know what I mean? Like I told you, the vengefulness in me would not let it go. And, so I had to do what I had to do. But to show that I was not with it, I wasn't cool with the people while I was incarcerated. Not that I was acting better than it was. I'm not sitting here acting like that was the thing to do. It wasn't something I wanted to do. It's something that I felt I had to do. You know what I'm saying? Like, if you want to do it, so then, you can walk around and act like I wasn't acting like it was a great thing. I wasn't acting like I did something that, was spectacular. I was handling it like, okay, we can't snitch on them, so what are we supposed to do? Like, you can't tell on a person because the community says that's not what you do. So what do I do? How do I handle the situation? It has to be something you can do. And so, I chose, to counter react, and put that work in, as they say, and so I understand the youth who are caught in this trap. I understand them. I understand, that they're caught in this trap, this double-edged sword. You know what I'm saying? And, so I understand, like I said, Charleston White, I understand his message. The antagonizing people and, and then turning around and, saying you gonna involve law. Like, I'm not antagonizing nobody. If somebody came to me, I wouldn't feel wrong if I, called the cops on them. No, like, you know what I'm saying? I'm not enticing them. I'm not saying, yo, you do just idiots and yo, what are you doing? Those who know that they are the instigators. Those are the demons. Those are the wicked ones, because they will send their brothers to the graveyard, right, for pettiness to help the devil on his task. And they know what I mean by when I'm saying that. These are the inside men. These are the people who, work for that government, that system, while putting on this tough guy persona, like, the mob, right? The mob, here it is, they worked with the government. That's how they became, presidents and all of that themselves, because they went up the trenches off of the backs of others, right? And that's what I feel like. If we gonna, play that game, why are we only playing it on our field? The mob was in other people's backyards doing the dirt. They was extorting the blacks, the Irish, and all of these. We are the only ones who are afraid to approach any other nationality and only want to get it off of our people. And I have a problem with that. I have a severe problem with that, because then they put this no snitching and all of that clause on innocent people, on the people who are not affiliated with any of that. Like, oh, you swore, oh, yeah, you pussy, you this, that, and the third. You gotta watch out for these other gang members, so you telling on my man. And I don't agree with all of that. And so, like, that's why my gun would bust, because if you thinking that somebody gonna do something to me and then I'm supposed to live intimidated and constantly have things happen to me, nah, you got me messed up. You would prefer me to tell the cops on you, because that way at least you know something. Me, I'm coming for your head. I'm coming to take you out. And because I'm not rolling in these large numbers and I'm like a ghost, God bless you. You know what I'm saying? So this is why I say that, right? For people like me not to have to get caught up in that, to set the people like me free. I was a slave to the community. You know what I mean? Like, not, the community is word up, not having it. Cool. The community is, oh, but you don't tell. Cool. But then, when it's all said and done and you got to go handle it, then it's, oh, man, yo, what you do, yo, man. You understand what I'm saying? So it's a catch-22. And so I'm supporting Charton White on the catch-22 removal. I just feel the antagonization, antagonization, I believe is a word, right? Well, anyway, I feel that antagonizing people to do that is wrong, right? I don't believe in this check-in stuff. I'm a hood. Any hood I go to, that's where I'm at. Now, my advice to people like that is if you're a rapper and stuff like that and you going to these other places, hey, don't wear your jewels until you getting on stage and stuff like that. And then when you get back around your way, you good. But we seeing that the desperation of the people is large. Right? And so you can't tell the youth not to have their nuts hang. That's where, this macho still comes in, and then we see the end results to all of these dead rappers. Right, and then we got the co-signers of the 6ix9ine. It's like a strange world we live in. You know what I mean? And so to break that cycle of black on black crime, we need to remove no snitching in its wrong context and apply no snitching to anybody outside of the community. And I do not mean a neighborhood of gangster disciples or a neighborhood of vice lords, bloods, and crips and all. No, that's all the same community. Those are all the same community. You can't ask these people to drop their flags. They wouldn't understand. But you can express to them that, yo, listen, man, we are all the same community. We just need to find out those who are white worshiping and want to get their values off of your back. Because that's what the real problem is. The real problem is those who want white things and are afraid to get it from white people. Like when you see me do my little articles and I'm seeing those who's committing those crimes, running up in these shops and all of that, like I give them credit. They're not harming nobody within their community, and they're going for the real gusto. They going for the real gusto. Those, like, it was one I seen, like I believe it was up in the Bronx, where it was a diamond heist. I know out in Cali, all of the live stuff that's going on out there, running up in the stores and all of that. I respect that. That reminds me of the low lives and all of that back in the days. I can respect that. That's not within your community. So that means when you go back to your neighborhoods, you already show, man, you beyond, the people out here, destroying the community. You going someplace else. You not participating in that. Not to say that they still won't get caught up in things, but they are smart enough and brave enough to go to where the white worshiping begins. The white worshiping does not begin with a Versace and Gucci on a black person. So, like I said, that 40% that I do not support a Charton White, maybe it might be too late for him. He's already antagonizing so many people with this, white man as his protector, his shield, right? And maybe that's what our culture needs. Maybe we do need to start hiding behind white people and making them our friends just to clean up our neighborhoods. Meaning not like they come in our neighborhoods, but listen, all of that, I don't believe this is a place, my worst enemy bull crap. I'm not saying that. I never said that. I never felt that way, right? Because I know I never wanted to put myself in a situation to have to be the vengeful person. But I grew up constantly in conflicts with my own people, but I always knew it was because of this white worshiping. You understand what I'm saying? So nowhere in time will you see me so disconnected from my people that I'm worshiping and valuing that stuff to the point that that's what I'm gonna go and do harm to my people over. I'm out. You know what I'm saying? Peace, people.